Hi guys, Tom Bell here from Revenue Tactics, your go-to affiliate marketing channel. And I've got an unbelievably exciting video for you today where you're going to be meeting with one of my private coaching clients, Madison, that I've been working with personally over the last 6 months, who's just hit 200K in a single month. Incredible. He's been running a combination of Facebook and native traffic. We've been running all sorts of campaigns together over our coaching period, from via sales-styled offers all the way through to lead generation. And right now, he's spending multiple thousands of dollars a day with paid traffic and affiliate offers. So I wanted to bring him onto the channel to inspire you guys to take your affiliate business to the next level too. And if you want to see more videos just like this, where I bring my successful students onto the channel, be sure to drop me a comment, guys, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss any future videos just like this. So let's get into the interview. I think you're going to get tons of value from the information in here, and I'll see you on the other side. Madison, great to see you. Thanks for doing it. How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm very good, very good. I was just saying, I'm here in the new studio in our Cyprus home now. So you are the very first person in here today, and I'm glad it's you.
I'm excited to be here, man.
Yeah, me too. So now I have lots of people that I work with in my education academy. Some of those people are getting their first commissions. Some of them are new to the affiliate space. And then there's other people like yourself that have been around a while and are doing really, really well. And you're looking to diversify or optimize further in your campaigns. You're definitely one of those people. You've been around a long time. I think probably a lot of people watching this video will know you already. I'd certainly heard of you before you got in touch with me. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about your story and background? I know you've got a really interesting one, very much like myself, where you came from music and you've had this amazing journey that I think a lot of people would love to hear about, including myself, because I don't know all of it yet. So I'll hand over to you and I'd love to hear a bit more.
Yeah, so I haven't told this story publicly. At least I don't think I have. I got started in internet marketing when I was 17. So this is 2004. I'm just about to turn
Wow.
40 this year.
Okay.
I was in high school. I was a senior in high school, and I was watching one of those late night infomercials, just chomping on some chips and salsa because that's what I used to do all the time. I still do it sometimes.
Yeah, I think we all do.
And there was this guy named Dave Espino. I don't even know if he was a real person, but he was like the host of the infomercial. It was on real TV. There was no streaming yet.
Right.
And it was all talking about how you could make money on eBay. And at the time, all my friends were working at various jobs in my city, which I live in a mid-sized Texas town. And so at the time, minimum wage was like five or $6. My dad was an entrepreneur. He was actually in the sign business, which is, adjacent to advertising. He would actually paint murals and signs, highway signs that you'd see on the highway. And anyway, so I always kind of had an entrepreneurial bent, and I'd worked for him over the years, and he always paid me like way more money than what minimum wage was. He paid me like 7 or 8 or 10, when everybody else was making 5. And so when all my friends were getting jobs, I was just like, man, that's a ripoff, And so I'm watching this infomercial late at night. They're talking about how you can make money selling stuff on eBay, and I'm like, that sounds interesting. So I talked my mom into buying the $27 whatever,
Yeah.
thing. They send you the package. It takes 2 weeks to get there, and different world, different time. So I get the package, I open it up, it's like a whole bunch of like nice booklets that are essentially a lead magnet going over the high level of like what it takes to sell stuff. And it had an upsell for a coaching program, and my mom believed in me. And she got me the coaching program. It was a lot of money back then. It was $2,500 back then. And, but like I was a good kid. I wasn't like out partying and doing drugs. I was a wrestler. I was in practice every day. I was in scouts. Like I became an Eagle Scout. I did a lot of different stuff as a kid. So like I wasn't like I
Yeah.
took it seriously. So I did this coaching, and it was amazing. They got me access to a drop shipping list and a wholesale list, and then they helped me build a website. I got a merchant account with authorize.net, and it was just exciting. I got a website up, and they helped me get ranked on Yahoo and MSN. And so I was drop shipping furniture out of an Illinois warehouse at 18, and I was taking a class in high school for how to code HTML pages. And so anyway, long story short, I signed up for this guy's newsletter named Brad Fallon. If Brad ever listens to this, Brad is probably the biggest reason I ended up getting into the space, but he was doing SEO on Google for law firms, getting them ranked for like, Georgia, whatever lawyer or something. And He created a course with a guy named Andy Jenkins called Stomping the Search Engines. I took that material. Eventually, he had a blog before blogs were a thing, and he opened up an internship. So after I graduated high school, I drove out to Atlanta, which was about a 20-hour drive. Did this internship. He and his wife had this wedding favors company, myweddingfavors.com, and they were doing just insane numbers. And at that time, like online retail was not a thing, so it was pretty revolutionary. Like everyone's got an ecom business now, but it's not like it was back then. There was no Shopify. There's so many barriers to entry. Well, anyway, after spending a summer with him, I got to learn from him, and he would have actually been about my age. I think he was about 38, 39 when I met him. And I was just never the same after that. I got home, I kept working, sort of, trying to figure out internet marketing. But honestly, I realized that if I put Yahoo Publisher Network ads, which is like Google AdSense ads, on my furniture website, I was making $4 a click. So suddenly, I'm a 19-year-old making $800, $900 a month profit for doing nothing. And I'm like, once that happens, you're never the same.
No.
Unfortunately, that was kind of short-lived. I had a bad breakup with my high school girlfriend. I moved home, and kind of like, you're young, you don't know what you want. So I joined the Navy Reserves. Started doing that. Started learning about real estate. Just got insurance license. Did a whole bunch of different stuff. Eventually, I deployed to Kuwait in the Navy. I spent about 2.5 years active duty. And it was when I was in Kuwait, I finally had like a good stable income, and so I was able to invest in some Tony Robbins stuff. I invested in some Russell Brunson stuff before he was even a thing. And eventually, when I got home from Kuwait, I actually flew out to Boise, hung out with Russell at his office for a few days, got to know him. He's a really great guy. And he treated me really well. We went and had sushi. He was doing .com Secrets Local, which was like a agency model. Again, all cutting edge. Nobody knew anything about any of this stuff back then. So I needed a job, so I got into car sales. One of my friends was making like 10 grand a month selling Toyotas. So I was like, well, I'm currently making no money after the Navy, so I need a job. So I started selling cars and just like tried to go to a conference when I could. I went to a Black Hat conference in DC. I was at a mastermind last week, and actually 3 of the people that were at that mastermind were at that DC conference, and they were all like, oh, it sucked. And I was like, dude, that was like the coolest conference ever. But I was like a beginner. I didn't know what an ad was, So, but they were talking about cloaking and black hat techniques, and this again was all before like the acai berry and just before everything blew up, before anyone was an internet marketer. So I don't know. I just kind of had like one foot in the space, and then after about 4 or 5 years of selling cars, the car dealerships, especially the big ones, they've got all this co-op money. Like Toyota gives the dealership money to spend on ads, and then they can spend their own money too, I think, if that's how it works. But I realized very slowly after 4 years that the management was not going to really help me build my business with marketing. They were giving the leads to their buddies. So someone goes to USAA and gets pre-approved for a car. It's like, they've been pre-approved for financing. They know what car they want. They got the pre-negotiated deal, and the top salesman's doing like 20 of those a month. Dude, anybody with half a brain could sell 20 cars a month on easy mode that way. Whereas the rest of us were having to go outside, talk to strangers that didn't know, like, or trust us, and convince them to buy $50,000 worth of product in one sitting. So, but I got good at selling. Again, I wasn't a natural, so I took the trainings, did Tom Hopkins, listen to Zig Ziglar all the time, Brian Tracy all the time. Brian Tracy's goals program was one of the most important programs I ever took. And just, I eventually got to the point where I'm like, well, let me do some social media. So I got good at posting. Like every person I sold a car, I got a picture with them and I put it on my social media. And before long, people were inboxing me, hey, I want this car, I want this car. And within a short period of time, just through organic posting, I got to like a 60 or 70% repeat referral business in the next few years. So I don't know, it's like my 8th year selling cars. It's like 2018, 2019. I saw a ClickBank BizOp offer where it was Rob and Gary Kramer and Rob Jones. It was their profit engine iteration. And so I joined that, got a mentor, Jay Gehring, who now co-hosts my school call with me. It's our school together, but it was just like this long, painful journey. I wasn't an overnight success. I just kept at it for a
Right.
long time, the same way you would with music.
Yeah.
And while I'm selling cars, I'm going to college on my GI Bill for a music degree. So I'm studying piano at a collegiate level. I'm studying voice at a collegiate level. It's very difficult to manage all of that. But I found a way to where I didn't go to the car lot until about 3 p.m. I'd go to school in the morning. I'd go to the car lot at 3. And most car sales is an afternoon, evening thing. So I kept my numbers up and started learning paid ads. Well, COVID happens. I get fired. Me and management get into it. We've since later reconciled. We're all good. But I lost everything overnight. I lost an 8-year book of business overnight, and it didn't really follow me to the next dealership. And so I was like, I've got to figure out lead generation somehow. So I started running paid ads. It failed. I didn't have enough money to spend on ads. So it's like I ran out of money, but just kept trying. That dealership got acquired and ended up moving. I moved into management and finance, and just the stress of that, the constant, it's not a lot of pay for 18 hours of days, 6 days a week. Like you're going in on your days off. It just sucks. So I moved to a different location, same dealership group, the new one, and I was in Mineral Wells, Texas, and I was at a small dealership with 10 salespeople and only 24 cars on the lot. This is like, I don't know, late 2021. And I was like, this is not going to work. Inventory shortages, COVID was weird, supply chain was still broken. Too many salespeople, not enough inventory, and same thing. They were giving the leads to one or two guys who were making all the money. And so anyway, I just said, you know what? I'm going to figure out this paid ads thing finally. I'd made some ClickBank sales. I had done some stuff before, but not really had any like huge success. Like made money, but not like,
Yeah.
So I figured it out. Like I put my head down. I joined one of Russell's things, and I just tried a bunch of stuff, and I figured out lead gen. I was getting so many leads so quickly. But I didn't want to sell cars anymore at this point. I was so burnt out. I just started handing them off to my buddy, and he started closing a few of them. And then I quit. I quit the car business, and I was like, I'm never going to do that again. I'll go to McDonald's and before I'll ever go back and sell cars. And so a lot of my journey has been running from the car business to the point where I'm at now, where I'm like, I was told at the mastermind, I need to quit running from stuff and start running to things, which is a very different mindset. You're trying to escape pain. It's a survival mindset on the one hand, and this one's a little different, as you know.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, at that time, Jay introduced me to a guy named Matt Harmon, who is a legend in our space. And Matt, he's famous for having scaled to $50,000 plus a day on ClickBank, and he's kind of an OG in our space. But anyway, I got connected with Matt, and he introduced me to different lead gen stuff, and so started making $1,000 a day profit. And I was like, holy cow. And that went on for like a couple months, and then auto insurance died in 2022. Carriers were pulling budgets. Again, COVID messed up the economy. So the prices of cars was changing. The prices of parts was changing. Well, anyway, I kept working with Matt. Auto insurance died. Well, he had another offer for us. It was free smartphones for low income people through the government ACP. So we scaled that to, I think, over $10 million in revenue. I did a couple $100,000, which was exciting. Well, that offer died. The company got acquired by Verizon, and it's like offers die sometimes, and there's no amount of good media buying can be successful on a bad offer or a dead offer. So anyway, I was able to save enough money to kind of stay in the space. Matt started a company called Scale Club, which was a network similar to how ClickBank is a network of offers, except their offers were more in the lead gen call space. And I was their first hire. I was a account manager, so I was helping publishers set up their links and hustling them for traffic. It's a sales job. They're like, hey man, here's your link. Can we get some traffic? And then they send some traffic and like, hey, it looks good. Can you send us some more? And very quickly, I grew their revenue and grew it and grew it. And so they kept promoting me. Then I had salespeople, I had account managers, I was managing. Then they made me chief revenue officer of the company. And then we got to $100,000 a day in publisher traffic.
Nice.
So it was an incredible thing to be a part of. And Jake Gonzalez, who was co-owner of Scale Club, he is really good at shows and networking. He's been in the space for a long time. He worked at Henry Ads Factory for a while and A4D, which was, household names in that area. And so I got all of my network really from Jake and Matt, and all of my back end tech tracking, post-back knowledge from Matt, and negotiating deals and setting up private offers. I got all that from those guys.
Yeah.
So I'm incredibly grateful to both of them. So anyway, I started running my own campaigns. Matt didn't want a media buy anymore, so he was fronting the capital for our ad spend. So I just started media buying on my own and found some success, and kept making deals, kept working at it, kept working on my ads, and my agreement with Scale Club eventually did end. But at that point, I think the month they fired me, I made 15 grand profit. So I was like, man, good timing, right? So I was able to just do that, and work on those campaigns, try to get new campaigns going. But it was just me. It was, it's a lot of work when it's just yourself. And after about a year of that, I was like, I need a team. I don't know. I just feel like I need a team. And I've been studying leadership for a long time. Boy Scouts, becoming an Eagle Scout is kind of a leadership gig.
Yeah.
Being a musician, you got to work with ensembles. I mean, I've been in car sales, I trained salespeople. So I was like, okay, I need some help. So I started recruiting media buyers, people I knew from Scale Club, people I'd met in the space, and asking my other high-level media buyer friends if they knew anyone that was looking for media buying work. And then you and I connected because I was frustrated with Meta, because everyone steals your ads. Sometimes your ad accounts go down.
Yeah.
And Meta is a very small pocket of the entire ecosystem. Not everyone's on Meta, right? There's a whole group of people that they just go to Fox Business. They just go to, they go to CNN and they read articles and stuff. And so I started learning about this native world through your course and was really excited about it and wanted to get to know you better and work with you closely. And that's when we started doing what we did and started getting sales, through native advertising, and got an account rep. You helped me with that, and just was like, it opened my eyes to a whole nother traffic source. And I had run Google and other stuff, but you don't hear a lot about native. And native is actually a very broad term. It could mean Taboola, it can mean Outbrain, it can mean Rev Content, but it can mean a lot of other things too. Because as you know, native is just a style of ad. But so I started working on the lead gen stuff, started having success with that, and then we moved over to Newsbreak, as you know, and had a lot of success with Newsbreak before anyone was really running on Newsbreak.
Right. Yeah.
And that I found the quality to be much, much higher. And then going back to native for a second, I found that just being able to have my account whitelisted and being able to run on premium placements like Fox Business out of the rip was really exciting, because if you go to Google Display, you have to babysit your account for 6 months and do 4 million exclusions before they'll give you any kind of quality. So I don't know. And plus you have someone you can talk to, whereas these people, Meta is actually improving their customer service, I got to say, recently, but for a long time, you can't get them on the phone. They ban you, they overcharge you. It's the worst customer service ever. And Google, good luck talking to a human at Google. The account reps you do get, it's like, unless you've got big budget, they don't even want to talk to you. So whereas a Rev Content or a Taboola, I met a Taboola guy at Lead Generation World recently, just a nice guy, wants to run traffic with me. I'm like, this is cool, So they're hungry for your business, and it puts you in a different place. They just want ad dollars.
Yeah.
So long story short, I now have a team of like 5 Meta media buyers. I've got 2 Google media buyers. We've got 3 full-time designers in the Philippines that are all very good. We pay them well, treat them right. I know everyone's talking about firing everyone and doing AI, but we really lean into our people. It's really important. But last month we ended up about $215,000 in revenue, over $100,000 in profit.
That's a new high. I know you spoke briefly to me before the call that you'd had a new high, but I didn't realize it was quite that. So very good.
But coming from the car sales world, you have a good month and then you have a bunch of bad months. You gotta learn to regulate. So I actually wasn't particularly excited about having $100,000 profit month. Which is weird to say that. I always thought like, if I ever get there, I will feel this way. No, I've learned to emotionally regulate so that the lows are not low and the highs are not too high. And I just focus on the work. Like today, Meta's not doing so great. We have a lot of new competitors, and so they're stealing our ads. And so it's like, okay, what do we need to do? And can we do this new launch? And then what's going on Newsbreak? So having these different tools makes you a more sophisticated opponent that can survive these skirmishes that happen in our industry. From, again, people will just straight up rip your funnels on Meta. I don't like that. So I like advertising in places where they can't necessarily do that unless they're on the app seeing it for themselves.
Yeah.
And everyone on Meta is just running free. All the angles are free now. Free car insurance, state government program, home insurance, free, get money back for refinancing your home. Everything's a subprime message. And, there's only a certain group of people that will respond to that kind of marketing. The sophisticated buyers, the ones who end up being quality traffic, they're the ones in Nutra that give you high AOVs. They're the ones that fill out lead forms and actually answer the phone. That's a different kind of messaging you got to do to hit those people. So I like having a lot of experience with native, with Newsbreak, with, what I'm saying? So it gives you options.
Sure.
But yeah, so we're just really excited. I'm currently in the weeds trying to navigate some of the Meta. Meta had an outage on Sunday, and it's kind of messed up some of our campaigns. But we have other campaigns that are doing well. But that's the game. It's like you get punched in the face. If you're a boxer or MMA guy, you get punched or you get put in a move, you got to counter. You got to adapt and overcome. And that's just the nature of what we do. And we are also moving towards owning brands. So that's creating owned and operated sites. That's collecting first-party data. That's remonetizing the data on the back end, because as much as I love arbitrage and just sending traffic to, an offer, at the end of the day, if I can build my own offers and I can get a $60 payout up front and then collect another 150 or 200 over the lifetime value of that customer through a CRM and different techniques, suddenly you're able to bid more and you can actually outmaneuver your competition because you're playing a different game. And most affiliates are lazy and have shiny object syndrome, so they're not going to do this.
No.
So it further insulates you from competitive risk. But all that to say, it's been a long, long road. I've been on this road for a long time, but I'm glad that we're seeing success. It's been a lot of false starts, but I've just learned that anytime you have a high, there's probably a low coming. Get ready for it, prepare. Don't spend all your money, save your money, live like you're poor, and you can outlast people because you have done these different things.
Sure. Well, I feel like we covered everything there without me asking you a question. Thanks for such that was a brilliant story. I haven't heard a lot of that before, so it was nice to hear from my perspective as well. And I'm sure the viewers at home have got enormous value from that. Just coming back to your early days, what did they look like? What were the mistakes that you kind of made early on that perhaps you could help other people avoid, would you say?
Yeah, this might be too high level, but it's really, it's like your values, patience.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends, media buyers, who will launch ads, and if they don't immediately become 300% ROI, they are on to the next offer. And so I've just sort of been like a slow burn kind of person. Maybe that's the musician in me. Like I just got done with a weekly lesson with my piano instructor who has a doctorate in piano, and we're diving into the nitty gritties of like technique, and then you go work on it for a week and you come back and you work on it again, and it's a process. And so I've come to have a longer time perspective of things. So if I launch an ad, I'm probably not gonna do the $500 a day, and if it doesn't succeed in the first $50, I'm gonna cut it. Like I'm more of like, put it at $25 a day, let it sit for a week and ignore it and come back, see what the results are. Longer look back windows, 7-day, 14-day, 30-day. And you're looking at all the KPIs along the way. You're looking at the, all the leading indicators, the CTR and all that stuff, and the lagging indicators, what's your cost per result and what's the quality look like, all that. But really, patience is something I don't see a lot of people talk about. Another thing I don't see people talk about is discipline. Us as musicians, we know that if we don't practice, we don't get better. And you have to practice every day. And sometimes you got to practice up to 2 hours a day. And I had some cases, friends that would practice 4, 6, and 8 hours a day. Yep. And you realize what it takes to be a world-class person is a serious commitment and serious discipline. And you develop a different kind of mindset when you realize you can't You can't microwave everything. You've got to really look at this. You're entering a space. The ads world's never been more competitive. There's never been more media buyers. There's never been more gurus. There's never been more competition. So you've really got, and to me, one of the ways you differentiate yourself is your values. Are you patient? Are you disciplined? Are you committed? Are you a quitter? Those kind of things matter far more than, is it ABO or CBO? It's like, are you duping? Are you not duping? It's like, it changes week to week. I don't like things that change week to week. I like stable, consistent things. And yeah, I mean, you got to game the system a little bit. Yeah, dupe this out, whatever. But it's all tactics. Everyone's talking tactics. Tony Robbins talked about, tactics being at the bottom level, strategies the middle, and I can't remember what he said is at the top. But to analyze the chessboard strategically and think 3 steps ahead. Everyone's playing checkers. You're playing chess. How do I move and counter move? How do I put my opponent in a position where I can exploit them? That's really the game that we're playing, because again, they're not playing fair. 5 years ago, people were not ripping your ads. People were not. Everyone didn't have access to the same buyers. To get on MaxWeb, you had to actually be a legitimate high-level affiliate. And I know the people at MaxWeb. And this is not about MaxWeb, like just saying like that's how it used to be. And it feels like it was more gate kept. The industry was more gate kept. And so great shout out to MaxWeb, by the way, they're my friends, but I just, to get pay per call going, you had to know a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy that had a call center. And now it's like pay per calls everywhere, and there's courses now about it. And so it's almost like by the time there's a course, you're 2 years behind. They're selling old, outdated information that you're not likely to succeed with. But the courses are good for learning the fundamentals. They're good for how do you go to the ads account? How do you set this up? Like, what's the frameworks? Like that's what courses are really good for. But they usually are teaching the information they're actually doing is usually far, far, far ahead of what is actually being taught, and I understand why. Like I do the same thing in my school. Like I teach to the level of people's understanding, because if I start going into real-time bidding with Ringbo and Retriever and all this kind of, it's just like it's hard to. It takes time to understand this stuff. But to your question, I think people need to, are you going to the gym every day? Are you keep a clean house? Like are you committed to your goals? Do you lie to people? Do you lie to yourself? Like these things matter. Are you courageous? What happens when you're scared and you have anxiety? Do you pray to God, ask him to help you? Or do you, and like, these kind of things really, really do matter, because if you want to be here 5 years from now, 10, 15, 20 years from now, you've got to have a long-term perspective, and you can't just go from one gimmick to the next to, I'm going to run a Shopify store. I'm going to do drop ship. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. It's like, okay, well, yes, but did you launch an ad today? Are you running ads today? No. Well, you can't be successful on an ad you're not running. So go run an ad, dude. Set an ad up. And yeah, you're going to lose money probably, but just the discipline of, I'm going to launch a new ad today. I'm going to launch a new ad today. Or I'm going to look at my, I'm going to be thinking about new ads. I'm going to go do research. I'm going to, what I'm saying? Like the discipline of execution is so important. I think it's more important than anything. Can you execute?
Absolutely. And also, I love what you said about the nature of volatility. And we've had a great conversation before. I remember in one of our coaching calls where we were talking about the time that people are willing to kind of stick with something, but also the time when people tend to give up, which is often just before they have the breakthrough. So I see it all the time. Somebody might have a campaign at break even and it just requires a little bit more optimization to get that to work, which is the point where they tend to pull the plug. And I've seen that time and time again. And I know you've seen that time and time again. So I think you just have to lean into that volatility and just accept, as you've very eloquently put, it's all part of that overall process.
Yeah, and giving up for me, like, has been more of a question of bandwidth. It's like I've got 2 or 3 campaigns really singing. I need to start developing a few more. And it's like, well, then one of your call buyers goes down. They're like, hey, we got a call. We didn't like it, so we got to pause you. That's what happens in the lead gen world. Quality is a huge part of the equation. You can't just send people to a VSL and, there's no refunds, or there's refunds. It's like these call buyers and these lead generation buyers will straight up not pay you. They will. I've seen so many of my friends have been no paid for tens of thousands and in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm not exaggerating. It's scary. So you have to really, like, there's a lot of people that treat media buying like they're robbing a train or Ocean's 11. I'm going to get in, I'm going to get the money and I'm going to get out before anyone catches me. And so they're doing a quick cash grab, then they move to another offer, quick cash grab to another. But that's not a sustainable business in my view. It's a way to do our business as a media buyer, but it's not a way to build a proper business. And from my opinion, and people are probably going to disagree with this, I want to be able to go sit down with a C-level executive that went to Stanford, look him in the eye, shake his hand and say, we're committed to the quality of the leads that we sell you. Or we're committed to the people actually wanting the product, like if it's an ecom product, that they're not going to refund, they're not going to charge back. They weren't tricked into buying your thing so that I can make a huge payout and then bounce and then start a new company under a different name and use proxies and VPNs. I think if you look at it like if you were a brick and mortar store and you had a brand and you were trying to represent that brand properly to the public and build trust, but at the same time, you're using the elements of direct response marketing to get people through the funnel. Because if you go look on Facebook ads library, you look at what Geico is running, Progressive, these are not sophisticated media buyers. They're saying the same recycled stuff they say on TV. Those ads, the only reason people will convert on those ads is because of brand awareness. So if you were to take what they do well with brand awareness and match it with direct response technique, it's like pouring gasoline on your ads. But treating it like it's a proper business and thinking about it like it's a proper business. And again, if you take a guy who's a sketchy media buyer that doesn't have a company, like our company's Better Business Bureau accredited. Like the only reason I did that was for credibility and because I believe in ethical standards. And so I have a proper brand media buying company that cares about data infrastructure. We track everything. Like we're always looking at all our metrics, but I'm always asking my buyers and the people who we sell traffic to, like, how's it looking? Like we're selling telehealth right now. We're doing MedV Quad, which is erectile dysfunction telehealth. And so I'm asking my buyer, like, hey, I saw 14 quizzes got completed today. What's the feedback? What's the feedback? What's the feedback? And when you have this back and forth with the people who are ultimately monetizing this traffic, you create an opportunity to be a trusted partner. Then you get access to better deals. Then you get higher payouts because they know you're not just like everybody else. You have a name, you have a reputation to uphold. And so that's why we focus on lower volume but higher quality, because I feel like at the end of the day, I've been on the sales floor where the leads came in and top salesman over here got the USAA leads that are premium. And I got the lead that was like email only. He's going to be in the market maybe some point in the future, and he never answers the phone. He never writes you back. Whereas this lead over here is getting sold within 20 seconds. It's just a different experience at the bottom of the funnel for the salespeople. And if you send a bunch of bad leads to a company, they're going to go, well, they're leads, but we've wasted all our time. And anyone who has ever bought leads, whether you're a home services company or anything, these lead providers resell the lead 20 times. So by the time you get it, they've already been sold or contacted or harassed, and now they're mad. So, selling exclusive leads and following up, being like, hey, how's quality looking? But there's so many steps. It's like, do they have a sales force? Are they contacting the people? So we're building an infrastructure so that the minute someone fills out a lead form for Windows replacement, they're getting a text right away. And the text is following up and working to book an appointment for them on autopilot so that the contractor, who's probably not a good people person, he's good at doing Windows. He's not a good people person, and I know this because you send them calls and they're like, hello, and they're really abrasive and like they don't know how to talk to people. But anyway, just caring about the entire process can differentiate you in a way that I bought a YouTube course and now I'm a YouTube media buyer. Like, okay, yeah. And a lot of people have gone to ClickBank Diamond that way, but then they're on the street the next year because the offer went down or their ad account got banned. And so I have so much opportunity that I can't handle it. It's like I need more staff. I need more media buyers. I need more infrastructure. I need a COO. Because on Newsbreak, for example, I can run a campaign and get to the point where it's like good and optimized, but then a call buyer goes down, but then we're focused on this other stuff, but that's still a very mature campaign. I just need a new call buyer. Oh, I found a new call buyer, but I got all this other stuff to do. When am I going to go back and plug that in? Like that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
Too much opportunity. So I'm trying to staff so that I can
love that.
handle it, right?
Love that. And I know that's changed since last time we chatted because you were starting to build some of that team out. And I know I've been helping train some of your staff in the coaching calls. But I think that's a brilliant talking point because a lot of people watching this, they might be doing 1K, they might be just starting, but they might be doing 1K a day, 2K a day, 3K a day. And I think that's the point where you can do that on your own, like 100K a month. It's definitely possible. You did it on your own. But let's talk about if someone's scaling further than that. What's required at that level, Madison, when we're talking 200K a month? 300K a month, 500,000 a month. What does that look like?
Yeah, I think you need to be as legitimate as possible. I
Yeah.
think you need to do your taxes. You
Oh
need a
gosh, yeah.
CPA. You need a CPA who's not just going to file your taxes. He's going to try to help you
Yeah.
minimize your tax liability legally. You need someone in operations who, if you're a visionary, strategic person like me, but you're also tactically skilled, you need someone. We just hired a fractional COO, and I can hand off things to her. And she's one of these people that she's a director at a nonprofit. She loves organizing. She likes to label stuff. Like she's like that kind of person. She's not a killer like me who wants to just grow revenue and infinitely forever. But then I'm going to forget to like renew my car registration. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, your domain name is even worse.
I actually do need to renew my car registration, but yeah, so I'm putting her in place. But then again, looking at like the Better Business Bureau accreditations and Trustpilot and Google reviews, and people care about this stuff. Like we run ads on Meta that have our brand title in it. Like go to xyzwebsite.com or click the button below. People are going to Google and searching for that brand, and we're getting organic lift just from that. So you need a proper facing consumer brand. You need to be thinking about not just how do I buy traffic at a lower CPA, but how do I monetize the traffic on the back end forever? Because if you have recurring income, you have stability. The problem is, I've seen this in a lot of companies and networks. They build these huge teams, they pay these enormous salaries, but they don't grow revenue, and then they're held hostage by, if you're an offer owner, you're held hostage by your affiliates. If you're an affiliate, you're held hostage by your buyers. And no one's talking to each other, and everyone's got their own self-interest. The media buyers need to media buy for the lowest cost per result. The offer owners want to pay the very least to get what they need to monetize their back end. And so everyone's working against themselves, right? But when you can integrate these ideas and you start thinking like an offer owner, but you operate as a media buyer, you can build your own offer that has an LTV component or some way to remonetize these people, whether that's an email list or SMS list, or you've got a group with a continuity program, or you've got a way to cross-sell and upsell existing customers. You've got to start thinking about ways to insulate yourself from market risk. And when you study like macroeconomics, you realize that there's systematic risk, which is things you cannot control. The economy goes down, 2008, the mortgage explosion, right? Those things are out of your control. Non-systematic risk are things that you can work towards. This is like legislative risk. You know, they pass a new law, ACA gets renewed, and therefore all these new tax credits come in. The ACP program for free smartphones gets renewed, for example. That offer was dead, now it's alive again. So business risk, you know, there's all these different types of risk. People can go look at it on their own, but trying to put yourself in a position where you're an operator and you've got help. And if you've got 15 ad accounts and 2 do poorly, you're still in business. But if it's just you and you've got 2 ad accounts and 2 do poorly, you're out of business.
Yeah.
So my point is, how do you stay in business long enough to be in business? That was something I heard years ago. And the only way that I know how is you've got to think about it like a chess game. You're putting yourself in position to anticipate their attack and then lure them in, and then you can crush them, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think certainly at your level, you know, the risk you take, you know, it's risk IQ, isn't it, as well? It's not just taking stupid risks.
Yeah. So for example, I get criticized this for all the time, but I don't use credit cards or credit for media buying. Everything's cash.
Yeah.
So like last month, $95,000 was taken out of my business account, cash.
Yeah.
And I feel like buying with cash makes it real. when you're media buying on credit cards, it's like too much like buying on margin, buying stocks on margin. It's like gambling. And so I follow Dave Ramsey. People hate Dave Ramsey, but I really think, live below your means. Don't have a lot of debt. Have no debt if you can be debt free. Only pay for it if you can afford it. And because of that, we've been able to grow more stable. And there's a war chest we have now, right? And so now I'm worried about my tax liability, which is a different problem than how do I get a campaign up, right? But again, that's maneuvering. That's the chessboard, putting yourself in position to win. And I'll probably eventually switch to the credit cards to get the points and stuff. But I just really think there's something about, I don't know, when money's real, you spend it differently.
Definitely. I love that. That's great. And if we unpack that 200K a month a little bit more, what does the ROI look like there? How many campaigns are you running? How many different offers are you doing?
So that's across 2 primary offers. We're obviously developing out other offers. Probably 8 ad accounts on Meta. Everything's bid capped, so it's pretty stable. We have constant creative being made. My team, they all know how to do research. They all know how to do copywriting at least a little bit. And now we have a staff copywriter who works at a really high level company. I won't put it on here, but she only does copywriting for us, and she gets paid on a percentage of the profit from her own scripts. And so that's another thing is the media buyers are all incentivized to work together. So we pay team bonuses, we pay like a small base, and then they get a really nice percentage of the profits. My first media buying job at a big company actually was like 10% of profit. And then I had another one that was 10%. I'm like, guys, I'm making you all a lot of money, When I was selling cars, I got at least 25. Can we make a deal? So I just pay them all 20%. If they're a junior, they get like less than that. They get like, 5 or 10%. But I'm having the senior and executive media buyers train them, and they get overrides on those people's performance. So it's almost like a multi-level marketing company where like if you recruit a bunch of people and they make sales, you make money too. And so that's incentivized collaboration. Giving like the copywriter, you're not just a copywriter because she's a really high level copywriter, but you can actually make money on a percentage from your stuff. And that, I don't know, that's culture, that's team, that's direction, that's collaboration. We don't have any infighting. We don't have any gossip. We don't have any, in a lot of media buying teams, it's like you got the one guy who's the killer and he won't share anything. And he's really protective and territorial about his ads, and he won't let you look at anything. And it's like, I was like, if I ever have a media buying company and I have teams, we're all going to work together. We all know what's going on in our ad accounts. Now, these are all high integrity people too that I trust. So the values first are honesty, trustworthiness, those kind of things. We're not going to recruit killers that have no ethics. So are they a good person first? But we don't gatekeep anything. And I've got other things that I tell the team about that I'm working on that are not quite ready, like the telehealth thing, you know, that's being developed, because my superpower is going out and cracking offers, getting them stable, and then I'll hand them off to my team to really optimize and scale. But the 200K a month really it's been building for a while, but it's a function of culture. The media buyers really working together with the creators. The creators, they're Filipino and they have a small weekly base that I pay them, but they also get bonused on their creative. So if their creative performs, I paid one of my guys like $2,000 I think it was last month, and I didn't see him for a week. He went off and partied, but then he came back and he was like, all right, man, I'm ready to go to work. And then he's referred me to a friend of his that's also in the Philippines that does videos for us now. Now his cousin, who he has trained, is coming on board at a lower pay rate because he's still new. But they're incentivized. And then my main creator, I pay him sort of a management fee to manage the creators. And so he's taking initiative and he's coming to me. He's like, hey, I have this idea for how we should structure, everyone gives the creative to me and then I delegate it out so that it helps the efficiency. I'm like, dude, that sounds great. Thank you. And so, and then having the media buyers create their own ecosystems to help train each other, and the Slack being organized in a way that's helpful. And I told one of my media buyers, she likes organization as well. And I was like, here, just name everything the way you want, like, do it. But having like it's corny, but team stands for together everyone achieves more.
Mm.
And I think people really need to have a team. They need to treat that team right. They need to treat people well. They need to pay them well. Don't be
Yeah.
looking at it like, what's the least I can pay them to
No.
get, dude, overpay your people. They need to be good, right? And they need to be the right kind of person, but overpay them, tell them they're doing a good job, encourage them, pour into them. We also provide training opportunities as many as possible. So anytime there's a new course drop that comes out, like Chris Reeder dropped his pay-per-call
Mm.
course, I bought that, had the team go through it. James Van Elswyk did Geek Out last 3 weeks ago or something. I bought the stream and had everyone watch it. And then, we have people all over the place, so some had to watch the recordings. But the point is that we're constantly trying to improve. That's the culture. We're hustlers. Media buying is
Yeah.
basically a sales job. But I'm trying to create a place where they feel cared about and supported so
Mm.
they can be productive. They don't have to worry about, is Madison going to fire me this week because I'm not producing? Because I saw a lot of salespeople come and go in the car business that were top producers, but their wife cheated on them and they went through a
Right.
slump for a couple months and their head's out of the game. Another
Mm.
friend of mine, his daughter died. Like his
Oh
30,
gosh.
I knew his daughter. 33-year-old daughter just suddenly died unexpectedly, and he's just sort of a shell of a human for a few months. He's not going to
Mm.
be a top producer. Do you fire that guy? Do you let that guy go? How much money has that guy made you over the years? You need to lean
Yeah.
into him and care for him and help him and support him and tell him, we're not going to leave you. We're not going to leave you on the side of the road. We're here for you, because that creates loyalty. And when you have people that are loyal to you, it's like you can scale. You can't scale
Yeah.
with a bunch of mercenaries. You can maybe have a good month or two here and there, or go from offer to offer to offer, but we're just trying to like lean into our people. And I know AI is trying to take over, and all my friends are like, fire your team. I said that earlier, but I really think the human element's going to be more important than ever.
Mm.
And plus, if it's just you on your team, you're limited to your IQ, your intellect, your ability, your
Oh.
bandwidth. And yeah, you got to go manage the AIs and the agents, and all the agents are talking to themselves and doing incredible things. But if I have 15 people on my team and we're having a bad day, I go to my team and say, "Hey guys, we're having a bad day. Keep your cost per result around this on this campaign, this on this campaign.
Yeah.
What's everyone hearing?" Because they're all in their own little Telegram groups and stuff. And what are you guys hearing? What's going on with Meta today? What do you think we need to be doing? And I ask them, and then they'll go, "What do you think we need to be doing?" I'm like, "Well, I think I need to launch a bunch of ugly ads today and try the old school stuff and maybe run
That
ads in
works well.
Spanish or, you know." But the thing is, the team elevates your collective intellect.
Yeah.
And then having like the school community that I've been building, we're getting people that are ClickBank diamonds in there. We're getting people that are call center owners. Like, it's just wild to me. I was on a call yesterday with Carlos Corona. He runs that network Unique, and Carlos just gave me a shout out. And then like that whole room that's on that call specifically, they're all the killers in pay per call. Like, they're all super high level, and they were all like, "Dude, I keep seeing your ads everywhere. I can't get them to go away." So like knowing that now I'm a respected person in the industry gives me access, and I have all their cell phone numbers. I could just be like, "Hey man, what's going on? Can you help me with this?" And they'd be more than happy to help them, and I'd be more than happy to help them. And it
Yeah.
becomes very collaborative. Because 5 years ago, it's like the only way to get help at all is you pay a guy $20,000 and you're on a one-way Zoom call once a week
Yeah.
where you can't really ask questions. It was probably pre-recorded. And so honesty is so important. Being authentic is so important, because if you if you get a reputation, this is not a very big world that we live in. The internet
Mm.
marketing world's not very big.
No.
But if you get a reputation, you didn't do the right thing with that guy, or you fired this guy for no reason, or you didn't pay somebody because you just didn't want to.
No.
Be someone people can rely on and depend on and trust, and know that you're not going anywhere. Whether you're an offer
Yeah.
owner or you're a publisher or you're everything in between, consistency and stability are the keys to the future.
Absolutely. And I know we share lots of the same values, and it's been a real pleasure getting to know you, working with you, meeting with all your team. No one's happier than me at the success you've been having. You deserve it more than anyone. You're a hustler, and you've put it in, and you've stuck with it for a really long time. And I couldn't be happy for you. It's great to see. It really is. So I won't take up too much of your time today. But I suppose just to finish on, obviously you're having massive success, 200K a month, amazing. What about someone maybe just getting into affiliate marketing? You mentioned before about that moment you knew it was real. I had that moment when I was on holiday in Italy, and I paid for the whole holiday with my passive income while I was there. For you, what was it again? Give us that first
Uh,
moment that
yeah,
you realized it was real.
having those publisher ads
Yeah.
on my website, I had
Okay.
a
That was it
proper
for you. Okay.
yeah, I had a
Nice.
proper company in a product. Like, let's buy some bar stools and sofas, and people
Yeah.
did, but I found I was making money selling ads. It was like, this is weird. It's
Yeah.
like it just something hits you.
Totally. Totally. And without it sounding too corny, how was it working with me during our time together?
Yeah, it's great. I really enjoyed it, and you're obviously a top professional, and you understand the business at a level very few people do. You're very experienced. You've done a lot of things. You're also a content creator, but you understand the back end. You understand deals. You understand that having an account rep matters. You understand the nuance of platforms in a way very few people do. And there was a lot of times I would get stuck, or my team would get stuck, and I'd be like, "Go talk to Tom. Go talk to Tom. Go talk to Tom." And they would. And then you'd be like, "Oh yeah, you need to do this." And then we were off to the races. And just having that support is invaluable. And if anyone's like, should I work with Tom or not? I'm like, be grateful you get the opportunity to work with him at all. He could
No,
just
I
stop work.
appreciate
He could
that.
just stop taking students tomorrow. But
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
true.
live in Cyprus. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
So work with him while you still can.
I appreciate that, man. And I'm so grateful for our friendship. I really am. I'm glad it's become more than just a business.
Me too. Me too.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will let you go. What's on the agenda for today? Have you got any music practice, any piano, singing?
That's done. I'm still getting caught up from the conferences, so I've
Yeah.
got endless work ahead of me. But yeah, because the campaigns are a little bit like break even and below, I'm gonna get back in the trenches. I'm gonna
Yeah.
launch some ads. I'm gonna get some stuff going. We gotta lead from the front, man.
You do, you do. Well, I'm so excited to see how it's going to pan out for you over the next few years. There's a lot coming, and I think for both of us, what's coming is going to be so exciting. So
Yeah.
appreciate your time today. I'll let you go, Madison. You get back to work, and we'll catch up really soon.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
All right, bye for now.
So there you have it, guys. $200,000 in a single month, not because he got lucky, not because he stumbled across a secret, but because he committed to a proper process. Testing properly, choosing strong angles, and scaling what the data proved. That's what this business is really about. Now, if you're serious about building something similar, whether that's 5K a month, 10K a month, or eventually far beyond that, and you'd like to work with me personally in the same way that I worked with Madison, you can apply for private coaching at revenuetactics.com/apply for mentorship. I'll leave the link in the description below. I appreciate you watching, guys, as always, and I will see you in the next video.